Okay. So then, Erin, do you want to read the case study?
Yeah. Um, so the case is I am a CTRS and work in a physical rehabilitation unit and have enjoyed a referral for patient Jones, who has a diagnosis of left CVA. I meet with patient Jones and his wife after completing an assessment and meeting with the treatment team to outline the individualized treatment plan. Patient Jones communicated at the outset that he wants to go home and do activities with his wife like he used to do. And his wife says, yes, we want to be able to play bridge with our friends and go to the Elks Lodge for dinners and parties. I really feel for this couple and say that's great. Our plan will be to get you integrated back into the community and show you how to use adaptive devices to play cards, go to your Elks Lodge to check out the accessibility, and get you to a point where you can go home and continue the same activities. At the treatment team meeting, the team decided before I met with patient Jones and his wife that patient Jones was not making any progress with his ADLs, showed significant cognitive and communication deficits, and was dependent with transfers and bladder. Since his wife had multiple sclerosis, it was planned that his disposition would have to be nursing home care.
Okay.
Identify the behavior.
So I'm a little bit confused about this. The CTRS met with the couple and then met with the treatment team or the
I
other?
think that it's meaning that they met with the treatment team first, and then she met with the couple, and then that's when she was like, oh, I kind of feel for you. Maybe we can go this route. That's kind of what I gathered from it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what order. It's like confusing the way it,
The way it's worded is.
Yeah.
yeah. But basically, this guy wants to be able to eventually go home and work through his, like, the aftermath of the stroke, but the treatment team basically turned that down and just said he's going to end up in a nursing home because he's not making progress and his wife isn't able to help him make progress at home.
Right.
Okay. All right. So then identify the behavior. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then professional relevance. What do you guys think?
So I think that this is the one that it's like does affect your relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that obviously it does, because I think that it's kind of a tricky situation because I mean the treatment team has kind of decided one thing, but then in the moment you kind of say something the opposite to them, and so if you come back and say sorry, that's not an option anymore, I think that'll definitely hurt the professional relationship, the helping relationship, and I think it'll devastate the client as well.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't really want to be there. He doesn't want to be told that he's not going to be able to go home.
Yeah. Well, and it just looks very unprofessional to have all these different people coming up with ideas and not like collaborating
Right.
together and then relaying the message to the client. Because I mean, if I was his wife or something and trying to figure out what's going on and like what he's going to be able to do, like I wouldn't know who to trust and
Yeah.
or what.
This is a big issue.
Mm-hmm.
So I just professional itself. All right. Anything else on that?
I don't think so.
All right. So differentiate personal and or professional values and ideas.
So your personal values would be wanting to get them back home and get them at the Elk Lodge, but your professional values are you have to agree with what you agreed to as a team. So
Mm-hmm.
like maybe within the treatment team, and working together.
And I think that the treatment team, their plan is to do what's best for the patient overall, or for the
Mm-hmm.
client overall. And so taking all things into consideration um, when you're planning for that client.
Yeah, and it's not just your relationship with the client that you're affecting, it's your relationship, it's your client's relationship with all the other treatment members.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he goes and all the other members say, oh, sorry, like, you can't go back home, you can't do all this, that client is just going to go, oh, but the rec therapist said I could.
Right.
And he's going to resent all the other members.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Really contradicting right there, because you want to help them, but whether it's what has to be done or not, it's what was decided. And that's
Mm-hmm.
difficult. Right. Anything else on that? Okay. Next one is legal duties. So I feel like this one is also tricky because, I don't know, legally, if the treatment team like came up with a plan, then wouldn't they technically have to follow through with that plan?
Yeah.
So you kind of have, you're like stuck, basically.
Mm-hmm. And if for some reason you had the power to send them home, it's not safe. And so it's a legal issue there because you're sending someone home who's not ready to go home.
Right. So unless he made that progress to where he was independent enough, you know, along with his wife having multiple sclerosis, then it wouldn't be, like you said, Alex, it wouldn't be a safe environment.
Yeah.
And then the treatment team should know that. I think that's where the legal action comes in.
Yeah.
As well.
And even this like makes you think about, in my risk management class, we're talking a lot about like legal issues and like avoiding getting sued for things that are not necessary. And just thinking about this is, if the client were to go home with his wife and something were to happen, then he could say, well, they released me, they told me I could go home, so these things shouldn't have happened, and then it could come back on the facility potentially, which could also be a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Ethical
So
obligations.
Well, you're getting their hopes up, and that's kind of unethical.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming out when you know what the treatment team has decided and then saying something otherwise.
Yeah. Well, and also you should have their best interest in mind, like you guys were saying earlier. And ethically, like, you shouldn't be sending them home if you know that they're not going to be okay and they're not going to be able to take care of themselves. And so you want to be able to do what's right and help them help themselves.
Right.
Right. Anything else there? Okay, what is our action?
Well, I think that the CTRS probably shouldn't have told them that in the first place.
No.
And yeah, I don't know why she would, but at this point, she just needs to go back and apologize and tell them the truth. But still, like, they don't even mention, they do mention, don't they? Going home and having things, but their big issue was they wanted to be able to go to the Elks Lodge and go to dinners and parties and play cards. And I think if you could make that progress, that sure, he might still have to live in the nursing home, but if you can make it so he can go on outings. So he, like, at a couple hours a time, he can go out for the evening, and that would still work.
Yeah.
Even with like some assistance, like a caregiver going with him.
Yeah.
And I know that my husband works at a assisted living center, and they have approved certain, I guess it is in certain situations, but it seems like it happens quite a bit where one of the spouses, like the husband or the wife, they have to be in the nursing home because, you know, they can't take care of themselves. Their spouse can't take care of themselves, and they've allowed the spouse to move in with them. And so, you know, they can still be together. They can still do those activities together and have that time that they want. And so it is kind of like they're at home. Yeah, they're not technically in their home, but they're still together and they still have that opportunity to do the things that they want together while getting the assistance that they need. And I think that especially because his wife has multiple sclerosis, that can be, debilitating really quickly in some cases. And so she might need assistance in the long run as well. So that might be an option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is like more independent seniors homes and stuff like that.
Right.
That might be an option too, where it's like a varied level of independence and help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was going to say my grandparents got moved to a nursing home for a similar situation where one was the one that really needed to be there, but then my grandma was kind of like, she could be there, but she was fine on her own. And they were both allowed to live there. And at this specific nursing home, there was like an independent side of the facility and then an assisted side. And they would always do outings and stuff together, and they would have like arranged activities. And I think if you can just explain to the client that you're not going to be able to go to your own home, but here's all of the awesome things that you can do at this place.
Right.
Yeah.
Just say, this is what's going to be best for you. This is going to be just like a continuation of your treatment, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're going to be getting the help that you need and working on the progress that you can make.
Were your grandparents allowed to stay in the same room?
Yeah.
Okay.
They had their apartment.
Yeah, because I was going to say that's how it is where my husband works, is they always, even if, one of them technically should be on the more independent side or not, they are still allowed to be together all the time.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
So action, just explain to him that I'm sorry I said what I said, but this is what's going to be best for you. And then we have all these other options for you when you're there.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Anything else on that?
Which one are you guys on? Really freaked out.
The ethics case study.
Yeah.
I know which bullet point. Sorry.
We just determined the action. So we just need to do the communication role play thing now.
Okay. So for the communication role play, I can just read it.
Okay.
It says, a female client has been snapping at other clients. You have also noticed that she bosses around many other clients. In addition, recently the client has had several behaviors in your group that have been inappropriate. The client is getting increasingly verbally aggressive toward you and the other recreation therapists. You are concerned because this behavior is distracting from the outcomes of the group, and other clients are getting distracted and their progress is slowing because of the negative interactions occurring with this particular client. Role play how to communicate with this client regarding the situation with your group members. As you do so, model the following. Utilize 3 different forms of verbal communication. Utilize 3 different forms of nonverbal communication. Utilize a dialogue skill during the process. So,
All right. Do we want to role play this?
sure.
Great.
Who wants to be the client?
I can be the client.
Okay.
I can
Alright.
be the client if no one wants to, but I'll do it. I'll try to do it in the right way, I guess.
All right. All right. Who's going to be the CTRS then?
We can all be the CT.
That works for me.
Okay.
All right.
I hope I do a good job on this. I don't really know. But let's see. How should we start? Should I start or do you guys want to start?
You can start. Be snappy.
Let's hear it. Tell us how you really feel.
I really don't feel anything, but no. Let's see. believe this today? Like, I can't even believe this activity that we had. It was so bad. Like, why? What is up with this?
Well,
I don't know where to start.
well, what was it about the activity? Because the things that you're saying are affecting other clients, and so what can we do to make it more enjoyable?
Better, like, I just really feel like I should be catered more towards the activities, and I want to play basketball and somebody's in my way, then like I'm gonna tell them. So yeah, like, I mean, we do art activities all the time, and I really don't like Deborah. Like why do I have to do art with her?
So do you feel like the activities we have aren't activities that you are interested in? Is that what most of the problem is, or is it who you're doing the activities with?
Well, I really think that they should be better.
So what can we do to make them better, in your opinion?
Well, first off, when we play basketball, I would like to be given the ball first. And yeah, I mean, like, Gary, he really just can't even play basketball correctly. And yeah,
Is
and I'm
there
gonna tell him that. So,
is there an activity that you like besides basketball, or is basketball the thing that you want to be participating in?
well, basketball's fine. I could do other things too. I love playing cards. But no one, like, everybody just gets together and plays bridge all the time. And yeah, Gary always wins anyway, so why play? And it's only when the high schoolers come over and just want to play games. Like, did you guys hear me?
No, you cut out for a second.
Oh, sorry. Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all the high schools ever want to do is just come over and play bridge, and how boring is that? Like, all they do is for service activities, and they never even get to know you anyway, so not really, not at all.
What kind of card games do you like to play?
Anything that is competitive.
So you're a competitive person and you like doing competitions? Okay. So what if we had an activity where you taught everybody else your favorite card game, and once everybody learned how, we could all play together to see who would win?
I thought that you were supposed to be helping me have fun, not me teaching everybody else how to have fun.
What if you taught me how to play the game, and then we could teach everybody else, and then you could play with everybody else?
I don't like it.
So sassy. Hmm.
Do we need to keep role playing?
I don't know. How far do we need to go? I don't know how to respond, I'll be honest.
I don't
I
either.
don't really know. I mean, I feel like it probably would have been better if we like created a situation.
That's
You know what I'm
true.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like, how do I be snappy at other clients? Like, I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying?
I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was
But
pretty good, though.
You did
Sounded
great.
like things I've heard before.
oh, good. Snappy at you guys. I mean, maybe I kind of described how I was snappy at other people,
Yeah.
but
Well, it said you were
I don't know.
snappy
I
at your races as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I
But
think
do we need to kind of talk about it now?
Yeah, I think making sure like doing one-on-one is probably a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Not
definitely take the agitated person out of the situation because
Mhm.
sometimes clients like to make a scene and then it just makes it worse.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree. And I feel like too, so I mean maybe like this is what a snappy client could maybe feel like, but especially if, say this is in a real situation of three, CTRSs were to approach them as far as one person, they'd almost feel that they're ganged up on.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
in a sense that just retaliate more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's just what I would guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
agree.
It's helpful to just take the client out and like go to a quiet area or like a separate room with just one person and talk about it. And if you're not getting anywhere, then find somebody else that can talk to them. And
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
just continuing a one-on-one is super helpful.
Yeah. And I think that Kylie did a good job of kind of like being snappy, but being really vague about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that that's how a lot of people can get.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so in that case, just keep asking questions and specific questions as well. I think that asking them, just kind of like a generalized, what do you think, isn't going to get very far.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But doing like the specific questions and like restating what they're saying so you make sure that you understand what they're saying to you is important in that situation too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is just like make sure you're listening and make sure that they know you're listening and that you are actually concerned because then they're like, oh, you actually care about where we're going with this and
Right.
not just a back and forth game. Like this can actually get somewhere.
Right.
Yeah. And I think if
I think
you're
another
doing it at a different time, like not in the middle of the activity, like
Yeah.
not pulling them out, that way they have a chance to like calm down and get out of that mindset for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
I think another way to approach it too, is who's in 473 right now as well? Is anybody?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay. Well, when you guys get there, you'll have to read a book. It's actually really good. It's called The Anatomy of Peace.
Mm-hmm.
It's based off of putting your heart at peace.
Yeah.
And it's like, especially when like approaching clients and things like that, and a lot of the different things about what we want to think about is not thinking of the object or thinking as the client or the participant as an object, but thinking them as a person. It's hard because a lot of times as therapeutic recreational specialists, we want to address the situation and we want to fix the problem. It's not an effective way to go about it. I think more so of the situation get better. I think it was probably Erin, or I don't know, or maybe it was Caitlin, but well, what can we do to help with that situation? I thought that was a really good question. I don't know, I just think it's probably a good way to think about it, okay, like that they're really in that situation with whatever that they're going through rather than like, how can we stop this client to be doing this, whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have it people centered,
does
not
that make sense?
centered.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
No.
Point out like all the different forms of communication. I was trying to think of that while I was in the process, but or anything, or are we good?
No, it's hard to show those over Skype.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, like the types of communication, though. I mean, I feel like we did like restating and summarizing and
mhm.
um,
Clarification.
probing.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
Open-ended questions.
Yeah. Just listening,
Active listening.
contact.
Nailed it.
Cool.
I think, yeah, and I really like how one of you said going on maybe one-on-one instead of a group kind of thing. So I already talked about that, but I just thought that was really kind of imminent.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's just more helpful that way.
I agree.
All right.
All right. Do you want to move on to number 5?
Oh, there's another one?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Communication techniques video.
Did you guys already watch it?
No.
I
play it, and you guys might be able to hear it. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna see if there was a way to share my screen.
have no idea.
I don't know how to do that on this.
Oh, screen share.
It's basically just like this. They're playing wheelchair basketball. Oh.
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 Okay, I'm gonna make this big.
Perfect.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. I'll be right back, I guess.
So what you're saying is that you're having a hard time feeling accepted by the other basketball players? Well, do you have a hard time accepting yourself?
Do you have any in the freezer?
Well, actually, yeah, I think so. No, I don't know.
All right, come see Valley.
I think I understand what you're saying. Okay, yeah.
What are you waiting for? Pass the ball. Nice of you to join us.
Okay. Hello. Oh, goodness.
All right. So identify different forms of verbal and nonverbal communication. Well, he pushed the other guy. That's one nonverbal communication.
I think there was a lot of body language and expression during the basketball game.
Eyes.
Yeah. And then obviously there was verbal communication between the therapist, and they were yelling at each other and all sorts of things.
Please secure. And then I started phone call. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Mom.
I feel like there was a lot of insincere communication, especially between the therapist and the one guy. Obviously,
Mhm.
like, I don't care. Again. But okay. Identify what the therapist did well and what the therapist did poorly. So is the therapist the like coach guy?
I was wondering that too, if he was a therapist as well or if it was just the lady.
Yeah. Well, if it was him, obviously he should have taken the time to understand the situation.
Yeah.
Just calling him out and yelling at him, and in front of everybody, like we were just talking about, like making a big scene about it. That doesn't help him feel any better about himself or
Right.
other people on the team.
And he just kind of dismissed him and was like, "Go see doctor, whatever."
Yeah, and told him to go to the dance class. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was rude.
Yeah.
I don't think he did much well. But the other lady, her questions were worded really well, and especially when she was like, well, do you accept yourself? Like, she just, the way she worded it, I feel like it just made him think more about who he is and like why he's there and his purpose. And by thinking about that, it just kind of gave him a new light, and he was able to feel better about himself and about the situation and kind of move on from it.
That being said, maybe I missed something, but it felt like that question was kind of out of the blue.
Yeah, it was kind of like random,
Yeah.
but
Well, I think
feel
it
like,
went along because she asked if, well, she like restated that he felt that the others don't accept him.
Mhm.
And so I think it just kind of went along with that.
yeah, it was very deep on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
He's better.
So, like, does he feel like others don't accept him because he feels like he doesn't accept himself, kind of a thing?
Yeah.
Like if you don't accept yourself, then other people won't either.
Right.
Or at least you won't.
It
You
kind of
won't
got
perceive it that way.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. All right. And then for the items the therapist did poorly, what are some better alternatives? So,
Just kind of what we already said. He should have taken the time to understand and talk to him instead of just kind of being a jerk saying, go talk to Dr. Brown, go to the dance class.
yeah,
I don't want you pushing my kids around type of a thing.
Yeah.
be more sincere and like open to what was happening rather than just jumping to conclusions because
Right.
you know him or whatever. All right. So now there's number 6.
So the second role play.
Yeah. Says role play how to communicate with this client regarding this situation from the video with your group members. As you do so, model the following. So utilize the 3 forms
I
of
want to
verbal.
see some thrashing of some basketball.
I think we kind of talked about this when we did the other ones. We didn't role play it, but
Yeah, that's when we talked about all of these different things, I guess.
Yeah, the same kind of things like maintain eye contact, attentive listening.
Pull them aside. Don't do it in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And I think in this situation, too, he could have taken both of the kids that were fighting and kind of talked to them to see what was going on. And then if things kind of still were heated, talk to them one-on-one. But I think that might be beneficial for them to talk to each other rather than just fighting with each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know that.
Well, and I feel like him raising his voice encourages them to raise their voice, and like it just kind of sets an example. Like he's the leader, and they see that that's okay, and so then they're gonna feel more comfortable acting that way around him and during basketball games.
Mm-hmm.
So if you lower his voice, at least it's like talk to them like a normal human being. Like, that would be a huge benefit.
Yeah, just don't create a scene. Because that's, obviously he looked embarrassed by it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That can't do any good.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think that was it.
Yeah, that's all the
That's
questions.
all the bullet points.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. See you guys
Thanks.
next time.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good night.
You too.